Hi there, and welcome to Amsterdam. I just arrived around 4 p.m. from London on the Eurostar, and now I'm wandering around a bit before my Nightjet service to Vienna departs at 7 p.m. When I began planning this trip, I wanted to put in these 3 train segments as a break from flying. A leisurely activity, if you will. Something that I could report back to you as being pleasant, efficient, and just a great all-around way to travel. In reality, it was much closer to hell, and while I've never been there, I'm pretty sure that the climates are similar. Just for a reference point, I want you to think about one thing for me, wherever you live. What is your comfortable sleeping temperature? We'll come back to this later. Before we take a deep dive into... Actually, a deep dive into the canals would have been nice along this trip, but before we get started, let me welcome any of you that may be new to the channel. My name is Kevin, and I am the Flip Flop Traveler. I'm a full-time creator with an eye to the skies and the beaches, and I enjoy my flip-flops nearly as much as I enjoy being honest and unclickbaity in my self-funded videos. If you'd like to know more about the channel, or me, scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Have a look around the channel. There are hundreds of airline and hotel reviews to enjoy. This less than lovely ride through Europe begins now. Amsterdam Centraal Station is, as you may have guessed, centrally located in Amsterdam, and it's the second busiest train station in the country. It originally opened in 1889 as a bold statement forged in Gothic and Renaissance Revival styles, designed by Pierre Cuypers, or Cuypers, or Kuipers? I don't know, I'm not Dutch. Sometimes we think about the modern marvels, such as Hong Kong International Airport, for its construction on artificial islands, often forgetting that this is what they've been doing here in the Netherlands for centuries. This station itself was built on 3 interconnected artificial islands. The station even has a royal waiting room for the Dutch monarchy. If the Starbucks looks like this, I imagine that the royal waiting room is quite a nice lounge. For the past 25 years or so, the station has been going through major renovations which saw a metro line added along with a streamlined approach to the road traffic patterns around it. On the other side near the water, the facade is a much more modern take. Once you get inside past the turnstiles, there are some small shops and fast food joints, but nothing much to see, and slightly difficult to navigate with what I think is pretty poor signage. But I eventually found my track, 10B, and made my way upstairs. The Nightjet service is operated by Austrian Federal Railways, and only began in 2016. This followed Deutsche Bahn's decision to stop overnight sleeper train services the year prior. Now, Nightjet has a robust route map connecting Vienna to Hamburg, Paris, Rome, and everywhere in between, spurring a buying spree of Nightjet rolling stock, at one point a few years ago needing to lease carriages to support the demand. The newest carriages recently introduced are really modern, and the berths are laid out in a more of a capsule hotel style than the traditional cabin of 4 or 6 beds. Personally, I'm of the age where my days of sharing rooms with strangers are definitively over. So I really like the new design, which would surely make for a cheaper private space than the compartment that I reserve for myself. And here's our train now, arriving around 20 minutes prior to departure. Despite these being older carriages, there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. Well, besides my room. Everything else seemed to be in pretty good condition. Here's my compartment. I reserved it as a private room, but it could accommodate up to 3 people, be it you plus 2 people you know, or you plus up to 2 strangers, depending on how you make your booking. I'm a fan of the layout for 1 or 2 people. 3 would definitely be tight. Way up there, over the hallway, is the 3rd sleeping berth. The other 2 fall down from the walls. There's plenty of luggage space as long as you can get it up there yourself. The seats themselves are comfortable, and my cabin has a wash basin and mirror tucked into a cabinet. For an upcharge, you can also get one with a private bathroom, but that seemed a little unnecessary for €100 extra. Each cabin has precisely 1 outlet, which is conveniently within splashing distance of the sink. This is the same type of room as mine, but set up for 2 people ready for bed. We left the station bang on time at 7 p.m. for our 936 kilometer or 582 mile ride, which would be arriving in Vienna at 9:17 in the morning. Our route would take us through Dusseldorf, Cologne, Bonn, Frankfurt, and continue through southeastern Germany before entering Austria to the west of Linz. Now, let's talk about what went wrong. The heat in my compartment was broken. The controls did nothing. But it's not just that the controls did nothing, it's that the vents were blowing pure fire. Take a look. For my American viewers, that is exactly 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Mind you, the temperature outside was around 15 degrees Celsius, or 60 Fahrenheit. Very soon after we departed, I rang the attendant bell to ask how we could fix this. And before anyone says, "Oh, it's Europe, they have stronger heat." First, 38 degrees? Really? Please find me 2 Europeans that enjoy sleeping in 38-degree heat. In fact, please find me 1 energy-efficient heater in Europe, besides a fire, that blows 38-degree heat. But anyway, this was only a problem in my cabin. The rooms on either side of mine were cool as cucumbers, and this same vent in their rooms were blowing cool, refreshing air into their cabins. 20 minutes later, the attendant still didn't give me an update. I called again. I asked him to feel the actual heat. He did, and his reply was a pure Dutch deadpan of, quote, "And what do you think I can do about this?" unquote. I asked for a different room. He said the train was sold out. He said maybe the electricity in the Netherlands is different, and that after we crossed into Germany, maybe it would be better. I asked to speak to someone else, and he said the conductor or the chief or whatever the title is would be on the platform at the next stop. I went out and I found her. She was like 38 times nicer and said, quote, "I'm going to do the best I can for you." Turns out though, she got off the train before crossing into Germany and didn't do jack. You know how people get hangry? Well, I'm like that, but with heat. So I started to try getting creative. A few hours into the ride, he came to put down my bed and called me a genius for putting up the papers to cover the vent. It didn't really do much though, since there was also a vent on top which you can't see, and I ran out of tape. We received a complimentary mini bottle of sparkling wine and an amenity kit of sorts. The bed itself, in theory, was fairly comfortable, but the pillow was just limp as anything. I don't know if this is an Austrian thing or what, but this is the exact same kind of pillow that I had on Austrian Airlines, equally as unpleasant. I won't drag this out all the way to Vienna. It was never fixed. Here you can see that well into Germany, it's dark outside, it was still blowing the same temperature, and the wall of my room is the same temperature as well, compared to in the hallway, which was a comfortable 21 degrees. You may be thinking, Kevin, open the window. Well, yeah, duh. But the window just tilts inward and brought absolutely no relief or cross ventilation. I lied down, then sat up, then stood up, then lied down, then sat up, then stood up. I think you understand where I'm going with this. My undershirt was drenched and I had to keep the door to the hallway open the entire night. I truly did not sleep for a single moment and ended up spending quite a bit of time just standing in the hallway throughout the night. The night prior, our orders were taken for breakfast. There was also a limited selection of buy-on-board food available at night. If you're considering this joyous experience, there are 3 classes of service. The lowest is a seat in a 6-seat cabin, which starts at €39. The next step up is a berth in a 4 to 6 berth room, starting at around €79. In a room like mine, a single berth, when sharing, is around €139 or higher. I booked my private room for €200, but that's only possible when booking well in advance. The same rooms I just checked for next month are going for upwards of €500. The train ride itself was quiet and the ride was smooth, and surely the problem in my cabin was only in my cabin. But it's really difficult for me to imagine even considering taking the same line again in the future. I'd suggest that you do so at your own risk of a sleepless and sweaty night. So, I hope you enjoyed this trip report to make up for the fact that I certainly did not. If you did, please be sure to click the like button and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss out on my twice weekly videos. I'll see you next time on a much more pleasant train from here in Vienna. Oh, and as always, thanks for watching until the end.